We in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
Hey, welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous, our third podcast ever. My name is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I'm a fantasy sports addict.
And my name is Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
And I'm also a fantasy sports addict. Thanks for joining us and listening.
And thanks if you've quit our leagues for quitting our leagues because of our little shtick here. So, that's another topic for another day, but today it is Monday. We record these podcasts sometimes on Mondays. Today happens as Monday to be mock draft Monday. You know, it's football season. Today's the first official day of the football season in most people's calendars. It's not just, shorts and, pretend stuff. Everybody's got the pads, the helmets. It's getting serious. People are getting hurt. Like, training camp.
Training camp is open, and that means you should do a mock draft. I mean, really, if you're like us and a real addict, you've already done a couple of real drafts at this point.
You're past the mock draft stage, but since this is what everybody's talking about today, it's all over Twitter, it's all over everything. It's mock draft Monday.
And again, most people don't have 8 teams and, or if they only play a couple of teams or a couple of leagues, they probably haven't done a real draft at this point, and they're just signing up and doing mocks and
they're just starting to tiptoe into the pool. It's a little cold. You don't want to get your balls wet. They're shrinking like Tom Brady's balls, right? But again, that's why you do a mock draft, I guess, for some people. Now, see, all right, let's scale it back here. I think we can get into the mock draft a little bit later. I think we should take a moment here. I mean, again, now that we got these podcasts going, we're starting to generate a little bit of conversation, a little bit of traffic. Let's answer a few questions. I think we got a little Q&A going here.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to open up and talk about a podcast and just answering some questions that we have.
All right, so I don't know, 3? Let's do 3 questions or something like that.
We'll do 3 this time. Again, more questions the better, so send us an email, get back at us, and we'll do what we can to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, you can leave comments down below. You can send us an email. You can tweet us at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A, at FSAA. Hit us up on Facebook. We'll answer questions, and we're going to read some of these questions we've received now in the podcast.
So the first question we have comes from Cincy Bengals 7.
Okay.
He just wants to know what is our ideal drafting position? What position do we like to be in when we draft?
Well, I mean, I'm never lucky enough to draft early. I feel like I usually have somewhere towards the end. But in the drafts we've done, I haven't necessarily been too upset drafting towards the end. Some people don't really like it. I think I saw something on Twitter the other day from talented Mr. Roto, Matthew Berry, right? I think he actually addressed this in a statistical fashion. Something about basically in order, first, second, third. That's your highest percentage for winning a league, I think. If you pick first, you have the highest chances of actually winning your football league. I wouldn't have thought that. I don't know why, but I guess maybe statistically, that's just how it plays out. You got
when you're able to get the
top
best
option
player and have your pick on anybody, you definitely got a little bit of a competitive edge. Again, I think I kind of like being at the end and having the wraps, and you can kind of stay ahead of the runs, and you got an idea of, okay, this player's not going to get back to me, so I'm going to go ahead and take them and fill different positions that you need. And it kind of hurts or sucks having to wait the 20 or 24 picks until you get a pick again.
Right, but you can be more selective, more strategic about who maybe you're targeting.
Absolutely.
I kind of enjoy that. And it's, again, if you're on either end of the draft, it's nice to pick twice in a row. It really, I don't know. I mean, I feel like closer to the end, either end, it doesn't matter to me. If I'm on one end.
I will say that in the 10-man league where I had the 10th pick, I had a great draft. I loved being there, but there's actually quite a bit of a difference between a 10-man and a 12-man league.
For sure.
I did not get quite a few of the players that I wanted in the 12-man mock draft we did today.
Okay.
But I got them in the 10-man, so it just goes to show that even just a couple more teams,
your strategy is going to be totally different.
And just getting guys you want taken right before you.
Right. Did we answer that question sufficiently? Maybe. I don't know. I guess. Let's. We got another one? Anything good?
All right, so the next question.
All right. You picked these, by the way. I didn't have anything to do with it, but.
So this next question comes in from Adam Baum. And he wants to know who will be the steal of the draft.
Ooh. Well, again, that probably depends on the league size, right? But, I mean, is this like a personal question? Is this like, who's my steal, your steal? Like,
well, he just wants to know who's a player that's going to outperform his average draft position. Like, who's going to be a great
that could be anybody
investment.
That could be anybody that outperforms. There's so many. But all right, who's mine? I don't know. I feel like I've kind of gone all in on Jonathan Stewart somehow this year. So maybe I'm going to say that's my steal of the draft. I hope so. I'm obviously quite invested.
I mean, he does have potential to be a top 10 running back, and, he goes in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he definitely has potential to be really, really good, especially with D'Angelo Williams gone.
Right.
So, that's a good choice. For me, my steal of the draft is Sam Bradford. Like,
late quarterback.
Yeah, real late quarterback. Like, this is a case where either I'm going to draft him as my backup and hope that he really performs in Chip Kelly's high-octane offense and starts putting up good numbers.
Okay.
And then a player or team, another manager, their quarterback gets injured and they need a quarterback, and I can actually turn and trade him.
Okay. Sam Bradford or your other quarterback?
Either one depends on the other manager who likes, but ideally Sam Bradford. But he's also not a bad option where you didn't get the quarterback you wanted.
Like a late pick.
And it win, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't have a quarterback. Well, you still got Sam Bradford waiting around. And I think if you're able to stock up on running backs and receivers and get a good tight end and you need a quarterback to basically save your season, I think Sam Bradford's your guy.
All right, that's fair enough. I mean, again, right, coming off injury, like...
That's his main thing is, injury history and a bit of a risk, but...
Is he healthy, I guess, right? But, yeah, all right, so he's your steal, assuming he's healthy then. Okay. Wow.
Okay, and now for our third question...
I hope that answered, honestly, I hope that answered his question. I don't know if that was like even, who are we to say? Whoever you take that outperforms their draft value,
well, he's just wanting some ideas. I mean, we can go off and try to list a whole bunch of different players' names, and maybe we get, one or two of them right.
Throwing
and then we
darts.
Can be like, oh yeah, we're experts, Amari Cooper, yeah, take him.
I feel so uncomfortable.
Joseph Randle, you got to take him. I mean, he's going to be the steal of the draft, hands down, running behind the Dallas offensive line.
No, I feel uncomfortable. Like.
Anyways, all right, so our next question.
All right.
This comes from That's a Bingo. He wants to know, is it just me that gets scared off from drafting players on bad teams even if they have supposed fantasy value?
Yes and no, right? I mean, for me, like, I'm all about, like, maximizing value. You know what I mean? Like, if you can, this goes for any sport that we play, to be honest. I mean, if you've got something that's just sitting there looking at you like a round later than it needs to be, like some guy that's like, well, it's on a bad team, and people are discounting him because, well, he plays for a bad team, but I mean, he's top or good caliber player. and you just keep slipping to place you're comfortable compensating for that bad team, absolutely you take him. But I mean, if you're reaching, that's riskier. I don't know about that. I don't do something like that ever myself. So,
see, for me, I mean, there's obviously the superstars or studs that are just so good that it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to show and they're going to put up points and win you fantasy weeks and all that. I have a problem with taking good running backs on really shitty teams because they're going to be playing from behind and they're going to have to air the ball out. So that's why I think taking a wide receiver on a shit team, may be okay because garbage time and they get touchdowns where the game's already out of the line, doesn't matter. They're going to lose, but he gets you some empty stats that help you out a lot.
I don't disagree with that. Like, I feel I'm uncomfortable here looking at one of our leagues that we drafted. I've got Carlos Hyde, and San Francisco, man, oof.
They're a mess.
And so it's like, that was a panic pick. Again, like, I had the guy as a rookie. Like, he was, number 2 on the chart at that point. One of the things
also I don't like about Carlos Hyde is the division he plays in. He's going to be going against Seattle, St. Louis, and Arizona 2 times a year.
Well, let's talk about Arizona for a second, right? Like, we're from Arizona. Can we just drop a Go Cards? Is that wrong in the middle of our own podcast?
Absolutely not. Go Cards.
All right.
Woo! Yeah.
Super Bowl or bust, baby. Go Cards. All right. So I guess that was our Q&A session. We hit 3, right? Like.
Yeah.
All right, that was
again,
fun.
If you have any questions or comments, just get back to us, and we'll try to include it on our next podcast or
we'll give you a
video.
shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chime in, be part of the show.
Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, thank you. That was interesting. I felt a little weird doing it, but that was fun.
Yeah, definitely. Keep them coming.
All right, so we'll back around here, come back around, do a U-turn. Mock Draft Monday, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Yeah, all right, so just to be clear, personally, I'm not much of a mock draft fan myself. I mean, again, I think I do a lot of my research outside of the draft situation. I do, if I read articles or whatever. I actually kind of like going in blind, too, sometimes, especially for that first draft of the season. I don't know why, like, you and me, like, as soon as
it's always so early, so most people haven't really done their homework yet, and a lot of it is also just seeing who goes where and how the rankings are set up, and
which is supposed to be the point of the mock draft in a lot of ways. But again, you do a mock draft, people sign up and they're there for like 2 minutes. They're there for like 4 picks, and it's like, this is supposed to be a learning tool, but like people don't stick around. People don't even show up sometimes.
Right.
And I feel like you're better off jumping in those live draft lobbies that Yahoo has.
Yeah, and when people leave, like, it doesn't give you any idea like who's going to go where, because you can basically look at the rankings. Like, nobody's there. Nobody set their draft orders or the queue. And, like, okay, well, here's 5 people that have left before me. Well, the next 5 ranked players are going to go.
Right, and you have no idea. Like, if you're actually sitting at that same position in any given draft, an actual draft, right? Like, maybe you're hoping that quarterback falls to you, but you just, because in some mock draft he goes by some bot pick, it's like...
And it gives you false hope for when you actually do get into a real draft. It's like, well, I got him, he fell. I was able to go, like, you can look at the rankings, like, yeah, mock drafts are fun. And gives you an idea of, like, the rankings and kind of just see who goes where, but you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think unless it's like one of those supposed industry experts type mock drafts where like it's all people who are paid to be there and it's like a competition.
And nobody's leaving, and because also on the other end, you got the crazy assholes that
like me.
Not even like you, like way worse than you, and just take ridiculous picks all the time. And
I did my 4 picks, and all of a sudden now I'm taking a defense. Like, okay, you took a defense in the 5th round of a 10-man league, or wow, okay.
I mean, one thing, kind of going back to the ideal drafting position, is one thing that's nice about the mocks is you can actually pick where you want to draft.
Right.
So, it's kind of good to do a few mocks. Okay, I'm going to pick one at the early, one in the middle, one at the end. And you can kind of see who you're able to get and what range and which round.
Yeah, but that's still assuming you get into a decent mock draft where everybody's there or people part. Now, all right, if you happen to be in like a normal league, you played with these guys 10 years and you guys actually do a mock draft and everybody that's kudos to you. That's cool. Like, that'd be fun. I wish our leagues were that dedicated. Like, I mean, we barely get everybody at the regular drafts, the live drafts. It's tough sometimes. Like, all of a sudden, somebody's out delivering pizzas.
At the same time, do you really want to do a mock draft with people that you're going to be drafting in a real league with?
That's true.
You're giving up your picks. Like, I'd be going all misinformation and drafting players that I don't even want.
Right, that maybe is where you go all insane, and all of a sudden, like, Gronk's going #1 overall, even though you'd never do that yourself or something. I don't know, like. Yeah, all right, so, I don't know. Actually, that's kind of an interesting question. I feel like that should be a question. I would ask that for a Q&A. Like, if you have a league, do you guys do mock drafts? And if so, how does that play out compared to your actual draft? I mean, I'd be curious to know, like.
I'd be curious, too. I've never heard of a league actually getting together for a mock draft.
No, and as I mean, again, at first it sounded nice, and I was saying kudos, but as you've discussed it here,
No, there's no way I would do it.
No, I mean,
are you kidding me? Like,
it would have to be all. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be all bananas and bogus and
I don't
bullshit.
even like being in a mock league with you because I know you're going to be trying to steal my picks.
What? All right. Well, this is football. We're a little less competitive amongst each other in football, but like, if this were baseball, yeah, I would never do any kind of mock draft with you. But again, that's why we jump into live drafts right away. Like, that's why we do it for keeps and for reals, and we just see where we're at. And so again, mock draft maybe is not everybody's thing. It was mock draft Monday, so
we had to get in on it and just check out a mock draft.
Again, it's football season. Football! Come on! Yeah, we're ready.
And also another good thing about mock drafts is you can kind of try other leagues you may not have ever been in. Like, hey, you're going to do an auction league? Like,
oh, yeah. If you've never done an auction league, don't just jump into an actual auction league.
Absolutely not.
Please, for the love of God, do yourself a favor, and I don't care what sport this is. If you've never done an auction and you're feeling that itch, you do a mock. And again, I'm not a huge proponent of mock drafts myself, but before I ever did auction, you can bet I did mock auction, and I was scared to death. It was freaky. It was different. It's so different.
And even then, like, having a couple mocks and your real first live auction, it's kind of scary and doesn't go exactly how you want.
Right. So again, mock drafts, learning tool, supposedly, hopefully, ideally.
But again, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, for me today, the best thing about it was the fact that it was only a mock draft.
I was going to say.
Thank the fantasy gods, because I'll be honest, I was not happy with the way my team ended up in my mock pick. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, I had a lot of players get taken right before I wanted, and there was one instance where
a misfire.
I didn't even get the player that I wanted. Like, I tried to draft somebody else, but like
clock went
down, and I ended up taking a running back I didn't want.
No, that was but again, that's why that's why you do the mock drafts. You learn from your mistakes. Like, whoa, I ran out of time. Like, I gotta be a little quicker.
I better make sure I got my queue set up a little better. That's something.
Seriously. And if you don't set a queue in any draft, like, what are you doing? You got to have a queue prepared. I mean, I've seen this so many times. Like, you're in the third round and people are like ticking off the whole clock. It's just taking every second.
Which happens where
if you lose every pick in front of you, every pick in your queue, sometimes you're panicking. Oh, what do I do?
But when it's every single pick and you're just dragging it out over and over and over again.
Which I will say was kind of cool about the mock. That was really short clock time. I wish most leagues were that short. 30 seconds. And, when you are struggling to, like, make a panic pick because everything's gone.
Well, I think it started with a minute and then it goes down to 30 seconds later in the draft. And I think that's one of the things that threw me off.
did it. I thought it was 30 seconds the whole time, but
It may have been, but for whatever reason, I think the first few rounds it's a minute.
okay, I could be wrong. Honestly, I wasn't paying that close attention. I was just struggling to draft. We know this about me. I like upside youth and rookies. It's just sort of my little MO in every league. Every sport, tend to skew young and look for rookies. And
Why is that? Why are you so obsessed with rookies?
potential upside. I mean, I feel like if you have your core and your value, and you have nothing but upside around it, like especially if you can do bulk upside. I mean, again, say you're throwing darts at the board, and one of them hits the bullseye. You throw 3 darts, and one hits the bullseye. That's fantasy relevant. That's
but
fantasy.
There's still the floor with rookies and so many question marks. You're setting yourself up for failure if you don't catch lightning in a bottle.
And yeah, I'll admit that. I mean, again, I don't always catch lightning in a bottle, and I'll openly admit that. But honestly, again, in any isn't this just kind of like the American way in a lot of ways? We're always looking for that new thing. What's the new cutting edge? So I guess it's maybe partly that, what's the new hot thing? And again, you always come on, having Mike Trout in our dynasty baseball leagues. I mean, when you do catch that lightning in a bottle, my goodness, that's such a cool feeling, right? You're just like, woo! Yeah, league, I'm badass, right? So I mean, I think it's that thrill. I think it's that that Mike Trout thrill for me.
Basically you just want to make a point that you're cooler than everybody else, and you got the player that they didn't, so you're gonna risk your teams and your leagues just so that
I wouldn't say
you can say, "Oh, I got the best rookie."
I don't risk my entire team. I mean, again, I'm talking about you have to have for that to work. You have to have, and again, this comes with practice and patience, the ability to balance. You have to have counterbalance to make it successful. I think that's the difference between, again, if you draft a team of all rookies in any sport, you're in trouble. Now, if you got select rookies here and there, and you've done your research about who's going to have a good position or who's going to be playing for that right team where they're going to get instant playing time, stuff like that. Right, that comes with research. That comes with again, some getting lucky, but you have to be successful building a foundation prior to even reaching for that first rookie, right? We totally got off on a tangent, but again, where I think it started? Playing fantasy hockey. I didn't know anything about hockey. I still don't know anything about hockey. I don't pay attention to hockey, but I got a buddy that big hockey fan. I'm asking him who are the sleeper candidates? Who, again, we always ask somebody who knows more than us, right? I guess that was our Q&A was about, but no, I hate to say I know more than somebody. I hate to claim expertise. It sucks. It's sick. It makes me feel disgusting. I don't feel like I'm an expert, but right. So I asked somebody who knows more than me, and my buddy says, "Yeah, you got to go for these rookies." And I went for those rookies. I won the hockey league, right? It's just there's upside, and it doesn't always have to be rookies. Again, you're looking for, the sophomores that have now found playing time. You're looking for just youth and upside. Is that fair?
Well, again, there's still something to be said about that wily old veteran that's full of grit and just gonna show up for work and do what he does, and it's not necessarily flashy or sexy.
No, I don't, and I again, those are your lunch pail guys. There are a lot of guys in our leagues that build teams entirely full of that. They shy away, or not shy away. I won't say shy away because, again, smart money is not on a rookie. So shy away is not the correct terminology, but shun rookies perhaps. And
they just don't want to take the risk.
Which I'm not going to argue against. It's
Again,
rolling the dice.
I lie somewhere in the middle, and I try to do best available player, and sometimes that happens to be a rookie I like.
Okay.
Other times it's a veteran that's falling down to me.
Well, again, I always, if it's between veteran that might be good or rookie that might be good, I'm personally going upside. I'm personally going with a rookie who might all of a sudden catch fire And again, yeah, it's cool to be like, yeah, I got that guy. I mean, come on, we've all had that happen, and it's fun. That's what the hell this is all about. Like, I got the steal of the draft, baby. That's what the dude was asking about. I want to talk about rookies again. Like, we were talking about rookies, but I want to mention a few specifically because, again, all right, in this mock draft, it was a 12-man. I was surprised to see just how early some of these guys went. There's kind of like a short list of like top flight rookies you got to have, and then there's some deeper like sleepers that might find their way to playing time, as there is in any situation. But all right, I think Gordon, Gurley, Cooper are probably the top three outside of the obvious two quarterbacks. Melvin Gordon went in the third round, early in the third round, 28th overall.
That's way too early for my liking.
And mine too. Like, again, I obviously went with the Jonathan Stewart thing. Again, it was just mock, but Melvin, that seemed a little bit early. And I like rookies. And then even Todd Gurley going a little bit early in my world. 39th overall in the fourth round.
Not only is he a rookie, but he also is hurt, coming off an injury. So there's even just more risk.
All right, so my favorite rookie personally, you keep getting them in our actual drafts. I think Amari Cooper's kind of the safe one. Again, it's like the whole thing we were talking about, playing for a bad team. Would you rather have a receiver or a running back? I mean, Amari Cooper, probably going to be their top option.
And I have more faith in Carr than a lot of other managers out there. Like, he's shown that he can be a good quarterback, and I think he's going to be able to get Cooper the ball.
Okay, so I mean, again, if this guy is actually the number one option in that situation and the ball's getting to him,
I think he makes an okay wide receiver 2, but great wide receiver 3.
Okay, I was going to say I got him as my third wide receiver, and that's cool.
It just goes on how you build your team.
Okay, and I took him 49th overall in the fifth round. Probably a little bit early, but I knew if he went another 12 picks back to you.
I was going to take him, but it's still a reach because he still would have been slightly a reach for me to take him.
Okay. I mean, again, I also reach for the two rookie quarterbacks that are. I feel like that's my fun handcuff. You asked me in the middle of that mock draft if I was gonna do that in every draft we do this year, and yes, I am. I am gonna handcuff Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota every time, every draft. It's just my style. I have always drafted rookie quarterbacks and then found stuff on the wire if I needed it, but it hasn't disappointed. Like, again, it's that upside. It's you get your cornerstones, you get your pieces, you get your foundation. And something like a quarterback where you're just guaranteed points no matter what, like, this is just a strategy I have. I'm sure people don't agree.
I know I mentioned this earlier, but I like Sam Bradford a heck of a lot more than I like either one of those quarterbacks.
Okay, and again, I'm not going to argue, but this is just my style. I don't know, man.
And I think you're nuts.
All right, well, I'm not saying I'm not, and I'm not saying you're nuts for your own strategy. So, yeah, all right, I'm nuts. All right, anybody else out there nuts? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down for nuts or not nuts?
Thumbs down.
Well, don't thumbs down the whole podcast. Thumbs me down. Give me a Twitter shout. Like, yeah, hey, Tom, what are you doing? Tom, you're nuts.
Yep.
See, that's why I didn't feel comfortable with the Q&A section. I don't know. Whatever. All right, so that was my little rookie report. There's the guy who always takes all the rookies. I mean, like we said, thank goodness on Mock Draft Monday that this was only a mock draft because I wish I had more Amari Cooper, to be honest. I got my Winston Mariota in every league so far, though, so I'll take that. That's just, woo! Rookies. All right. Ryan, what else do you have to take away from today's mock draft?
Again, like I said earlier, just thank you, fantasy gods. It was only a mock draft.
Okay, I mean...
Because, again, especially going from a 10-man draft that we actually did to a 12-man.
We've done 2.
Yeah, we've done 2, but they were just the 10-man. And so I wanted to get an idea of a 12-man. And, again, more teams, more picks. And I missed out on a lot of players that I wanted just by 1, 2, 4 picks, like real close. So gives me an idea that I better prepare for deeper leagues and just kind of get myself ready for it.
I was actually going to bring that up. We should have done it on Mock Draft Monday, a 14-man league, because we are now entering a 14-man keeper league. Joe, our good buddy Joe Meyer on Twitter, he's the angriest Mets fan on the planet.
Ow!
Ooh! All right, so Joe is opening up, the keeper football and 14 men. And actually, right, I think he's looking to fill, 2 more spots or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
All right, hey, if you want to jump into a 14-man keeper league with some real crazy cats, the angriest Mets fan on the planet, and Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous guys like us,
Fantasy addicts, all of us.
every single one of us, and it's kind of cool and tragic all at the same time. Kind of like sleeping in a race car bed. All right, so yeah, hey, maybe we can get somebody to fill up Joe's league. Hey, 2 more people. Anybody want in on a 14-man keeper league?
Just let us know and we'll get you in.
That'd be fun. That'd be kind of fun if somebody jumped in on that. Otherwise, but yeah, we should have, instead of mocking for 12 people, 14 people, and that's what you were saying, like, if you were having a big adjustment from 10 to 12, 10 to 14, buddy, like, I guess we're going to be in trouble. I don't know. I don't feel like I'll be in trouble because I just reach crazy anyways, but.
Well, but also being a keeper, like, good luck in your 2 rookie quarterbacks.
Maybe. I'm crazy.
He is.
We've established this, I think.
He's going to make sure he gets them.
Yeah, man, I don't know if I think this is, even me, I'm like, now, like, I might do it. I hope I don't. You know what? This goes back to the, what is this? Is this a 12-step or is this a 7 deadly sin? I can't recall at this point, but whatever this too many eggs in the baskets thing is, I am so guilty of this. I can't help myself. And I'm sure there are other people out there too, but my God, I'm so keen on over-investing.
You're the worst at it.
I can't help it.
Personally, I don't like to do it just because I like too many players, and
right.
If I have them all on my teams, then I'm missing out on another player I like. And plus, the more players you have going into the next year, it's like, well, these guys did good for me, and you just kind of get a better idea and you learn a bit more.
I guess, but again, I like who I like, and I like who I like. I don't know.
Me personally, I say do as many mock drafts as you want. Look at rankings, set your queue, pre-rank your players before you even get into your actual drafts. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, get as many different players as you want, and you'll just learn more, and you'll end up getting your favorite players or people you didn't necessarily like, but next thing you know, you're president of the fan club.
Okay. Well, seems like sound advice on Mock Draft Monday. Do a lot of them. All right. I guess that's what all the experts did. Is that enough mock draft talk? Did we cover all the bases?
I think we're good.
I mean, it was just we're talking about practice, man. Now that we're done talking about practice, I think it's appropriate to just close with the fantasy sports prayer. Fantasy sports serenity prayer, excuse me. I think we should be complete. You want to do it or should I?
I'll go ahead and do this one.
All right. It's not wrath again, is it?
No, there's no wrath. I'm good.
Again, another topic for another podcast or another video.
All right. Fantasy gods.
Uh-huh.
Please grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineups.
Yes, sir.
The courage to add drop aggressively. And the wisdom,
as always,
to make good trades.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so feel free to follow us on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double, letter A at FSAA. Check us out on Facebook, same thing, at FSAA. Instagram, at FSAA. Everywhere else, at FSAA. Also, our website, fantasysportsaddicts.com.
Please.
Send us your questions for the Q&A. I guess we're going to stick with that. Any sport, any topic.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, hit us up. We'll talk about anything. And again, stay tuned. We're going to talk about how wrath and rage can either play against you or play for you. We're going to talk about that.
I mean, well, we're still trying to figure it out ourselves. There's been a little fallout from our 2 Angry Commissioners video.
If you haven't seen that, hit up YouTube. Look for the number 2 Angry Commissioners. 2 Angry Commissioners. We're angry, and there was fallout from that.
So stay tuned next time.
All right, thanks for listening. Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. Have a good one.
Good luck.
Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.